Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix from 2007. The fifth installment. Oh, right after the Goblet of Fire. I'm not going to review that one, so. Wanna know what this has happened? I mean, has in common with Deathly Hallows Part 1. Nothing really happens in it important. Barely. What is the story of this? Well, there's two stories, and the halfway point the other story begins. Coherent story. The first half is a completely different coherent story with Harry, and then it stops and starts a different coherent story. Then we get to the third act. It feels like it feels like it's another coherent story. Once we get to the third act of the movie, the end of the movie, after the halfway point, it feels like another coherent story. But all of this is one coherent story. Even though there's nothing coherent about it. It's like, it's a mindfuck of a story, what it is. So the movie opens up with Harry on a swing. And the kid he loves was being a dick to him again. And he looks like he's going to do something, but then changes his mind and then leaves. And then back home, then leads to Hogwarts again. Then pretty much gets his mind thrown around, literally, by Professor Snake. By whiplashing his mind and digging into his subconscious, and have Harry in a chair to torture him for some reason through his subconscious, and looking into his subconscious, and I guess to prepare him for the Dark Lord's arrival. And Dumbledore's okay with this, and once this part of all his training, I guess, he would defeat the Dark Lord and not to succumb to the Dark Lord, I guess. And Dumbledore's like pulling memories out of his head and dropping them into a little fountain with his own memories to cast them aside, I guess. I'm not sure. It might be his bad memories. It's suggested when he's having a conversation with Harry, that's saying he should cast his bad memories aside and cast them away. I guess what he's doing with his memory, yanking them out and just one by one I guess it's a therapeutic thing. He takes the bad memories out. I guess it's like a therapeutic thing in Hogwarts, that thing is. And that's what's going on to the halfway point where you find out Dumbledore's a one future and he makes it. He's now on the run from the law and after making a disappearing act, and we don't see him in this movie at all at that point after he makes his disappearing act. And that's all teachers turn on him, including the newcomers, and ready to take him in, and so he just makes a grand exit and disappears. Because he didn't want to go back to Azkaban. Why is he wanted? Why is he there in the first place? Who knows? The movie has to get going. So now this bitch, who I can't remember her name at all of her name, takes over Dumbledore's position and is now the principal of Hogwarts. And trying to I just realized how confusing her plan is. See, she's using magic throughout the school. And it's where the magic exists. And wants to convince all the students in Hogwarts that everything they're being taught is a lie from all the years we've been here. Like the stuff about magic and Voldemort is a lie. So while she's using magic in front of the kids, and she has a magic wand herself, which is a little confusing. Dad? I thought I heard him. I thought I heard my dad. So damn, that's stupid. Why does she want to do this? Don't know. And the rest of it is him, her. So I forget she's like him, but she's so old and ugly looking. She looks. It's just that she's just wandering the halls, expecting the skull, making sure she's not studying magic or anything, while using magic to take shortcuts and close her doors and behind her and stuff. Meanwhile, Harry decided to perform a form alliance where they do learn magic in the school to teach behind the teacher's back. A handful of kids, and it keeps on getting bigger and bigger. So the kids are learning magic behind the teacher's back and how to use magic. Even though now there's no magic rule, even though the teacher's using magic. Eventually they get caught, but then Harry lets the girl get eaten by a giant troll. And she wants Harry to tell them that that she didn't mean any harm, which that was a fucking lie. So one, he doesn't care about her, and two, he's tired of her nonsense, so just let them take her away, and says, gives her a bullshit apology. And also, he says like the line back to her saying, "I must not tell lies." And this was after she actually had him use a magic pen, which whatever he writes on his paper, it sinks into his skin. As in, he's not just writing on the paper; he's also writing on his skin. And his hand is bleeding on, and it says the sentence he wrote, because she's a dick, and this was his payback. So by her getting a comeuppance, which makes even less sense in hindsight, because he wanted payback again, and definitely how one and expose himself. He wasn't supposed to use magic to stay under the radar, which led Darby's death. His friend dying, and to save his ass after he exposed himself in the open. So why did he want to get revenge? So is it, wait, can it count as revenge if he wants to get revenge a second time on the person that kept on doing him wrong and basically annoying the shit out of everybody and just doing everyone wrong and everyone in school? What was my quote? What did I say? Oh no, it can't count as revenge. It's just repetitive and stupid at that point. Getting revenge a second time is just stupid and repetitive nonsense. So let's also see our movie. And then we start a different story in the same movie for the third time of telling Cohen's story. Then they do more practicing, and Harry teaching the classroom now that she's out of the picture, and then something goes wrong in the Wizarding world and also the human world, where a bunch of death-cloak-like figures from Azkaban are appearing all over the Wizard world and human world. So Harry and the gang and his classmates ride on the broomsticks to danger of the source of the heart, of the location of what's going on MacGuffin, of what's happening. The heart of the beast they go to, basically. Wherever it is. By following the shadow figures into wherever there's most of them coming from, wherever they're coming from. Then they find that location. And bunch of portals start to appearing out of nowhere, like in Avengers Endgame, but without rhyme or reason. Unlike Avengers Endgame. And a bunch of wishes come to Harry and his friends and his, the kids even teaching aides. This when all hope seems lost and about to die. The Harry's teachers and also the prisoner of Azkaban from the prisoner of Azkaban, which I can't remember his name, is Black something, including Dumbledore himself. They all come out hiding to Harry and his buddies' aides to save their lives before they die and get their life straight from themselves. From the death close-like figures. Everyone looks okay except for Harry. Which looks like he's pretty much down for the count. Then wait, he's alive, but it turns out he's been sharing minds with Voldemort. Okay, when did that happen? Don't know. If you want to see the Goblet of Fire, the one before this is not going to explain whenever this happened. So yeah, Harry has been sharing ideas with Voldemort and himself in his body. So whenever he was snapping at someone just because he's tired of taking their shit, I guess that was Dumbledore instead of Harry just tired of taking shit. So Harry's a pussy, the bigger pussy than I thought he was. Because he doesn't know when to grow a backbone. In this movie, I guess, so... And this when he's trying to, like, I guess, fight Dumbledore in his mind and being not Dumbledore, Voldemort. They rhyme, but you're confused with names that rhyme and sound the same. In Harry's head, they're fighting, I guess, trying to get control over the host's body. Harry's losing against Voldemort, I guess. It's not really clear who's winning, I guess. But anyway, Dumbledore, Professor Dumbledore, the ex-principal of the school Hogwarts, give this, I guess, encouragement speech to Harry, but it just sounds like rambling nonsense to me. Telling Harry it's not what's the same that what matters, what makes them different, what they're fighting for, what matters, something like that shit. And then Harry wins and Dumbledore disappears out of Harry's body and disappears from the room, saying that he'll lose everything and saying that he's a fool for not joining him, and then he's going to lose everything in the end when the day comes for them to face to face. Spoiler alert, he doesn't lose everything. In fact, the only thing he loses is his own life. In the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. Throughout that story, in Part 2, he loses his life. Not everything, though, that matters to him. So what buttload of a lie Voldemort is. Vows that he'll lose everything. that matters to him, that's a fucking lie. Because man, it would have made the ending to this franchise probably worth watching again. But it doesn't. That didn't happen, did it? Fuck me. So yeah, the Order of the Phoenix is a 0 out of 10. I'm done with this review. Done.